Have you ever had your phone run so slowly that you wanted to throw it away? You open one app and it freezes. You try another app and that one freezes too. You restart the phone hoping that would fix it, but the same problem keeps happening. So eventually, you take it to a technician. They clear the cache, they remove junk files, they close the apps running in the background, they free up storage, and just like that, the phone starts working smoothly again. Not because the phone was useless, but because it was overloaded. And I believe this is exactly what is happening in many of our bodies. You may be trying to eat healthy. You may be cutting back on sugar, drinking more water, adding more salads, maybe even exercising. But you are still tired, still bloated, still inflamed, still struggling to lose weight. And then you start wondering, why is this not working for me? But after more than 10 years of changing my lifestyle, I realized something important. Eating healthy was only part of the picture. So in this video, I'm sharing the 3 areas I focus on that help my body finally start responding again after 40. Now, there is a scientific term called allostasis, but let me make it simpler. Now, allostasis is your body's ability to adapt to stress so you can keep going. So if you have a busy day, your body adjusts. If you miss a few hours of sleep one night, your body adjusts. If you go through a stressful season, your body adjusts. If you eat something that is not the best for you, your body adjusts. That is not the problem. The problem starts when your body has to keep adjusting over and over again, but it never really gets a chance to fully recover. That is called allostatic load, the wear and tear that builds up when your body is under chronic stress. That stress can look like poor sleep, blood sugar swings, hormone changes, emotional pressure, environmental toxins, eating in a way that keeps your body inflamed or unstable, years of just pushing through. And most of the time, it is not just one thing. It is all of these things slowly layering on top of each other over time. At first, your body can handle it, but when the demands keep going up and recovery keeps falling behind, the load starts to build. And over time, that can tip into what is called allostatic overload. That is when your body shifts priorities. It stops focusing on thriving and starts focusing on protecting you. And that does not mean your body is failing you. It means your body is doing what it was designed to do when the pressure gets too high. It's almost like your body says, I cannot focus on growing, repairing, and performing right now. I need to focus on keeping you safe. That is survival mode. And even if you do not know the name for it, you can feel it. Your energy starts slowing down. Your repair and cleanup systems cannot keep up. Your body starts conserving energy instead of freely spending it. And yes, you are still functioning, but not with full power. And that can show up as low energy, even after a full night of sleep, slower recovery after workouts, brain fog, cravings you cannot explain, mood that feels harder to manage, and weight that will not move no matter how hard you try. And for a long time, I told myself, this is just part of life. And I want to stay here for a second because I think a lot of you have said some version of that to yourself. You have done everything right. You have tried to eat better. You have pushed yourself to exercise. And your body just has not responded the way it used to. And it's easy to decide that it is just aging, that this is the new normal. But what I started to realize and what changed everything for me was this. My body was not just getting older, my body was carrying more than it could recover from. This is a very different problem and it has a very different solution. Because when your load is low, small changes make a difference. You drink more water, sleep a little better, Add more vegetables and your body responds. You feel it within days. But when the load has been building for years, that same approach falls flat. And it's not because you are doing it wrong, it is because you are not just trying to be healthier, you are trying to help a body that is in protective mode feel safe enough to come out. That is why the salad does not always fix it, why the supplements do not move the needle, why a hard workout sometimes leaves you feeling worse instead of better. Your body is not being difficult, it is being protective. A body that feels safe and supported can handle more. Now, a body that is overloaded needs a less pressure first and more support. That was the first shift I had to understand. Not just eating differently, but understanding the state my body was already in. Because if you skip this step, even healthy choices may not give you the results you expect. And you may keep blaming yourself for something that was not really about willpower. So once I understood my body was already carrying a load, the next question became obvious. What was I doing, eating, or exposing myself to that was making that load heavier? This is where many of us get stuck. We hear eating healthy and we immediately think about what we need to add. More salads, more smoothies, more supplements, more protein, more exercise, more discipline. And those things can help eventually. But if your body is already overloaded, more is not always the answer. Sometimes the first question is not what do I need to add? Sometimes it is what do I need to remove so my body can stop fighting so hard. Now that shift changed how I thought about food entirely. Because food is not just calories. Food is information. And every single meal either makes your body's job easier or gives it more work to do. Now, I used to think the main question was, is this food healthy or unhealthy? But now I ask a different question. How does this food affect me? Does it leave me energized or drained, satisfied or craving more, light or bloated, stable or irritated, calm or inflamed? But here is something that took me a while to accept. Just because something is considered healthy does not mean it is healthy for your body in the season you are currently in. Now, dairy can be completely fine for one person, but for another, it quietly drives bloating, congestion, or inflammation that they cannot figure out. Grains may work well for one person, but for another, they bring on that heavy, foggy, tired feeling that lasts all day. Nuts can be a great snack for some people, but others, they are harder to digest than they realize. This is not about making food the enemy. It is about learning your body, specifically what it can handle right now. Now I want to spend a few moments on the next aspect, as this is where many women quietly struggle. The conversation around chocolate, bread, dessert, wine, and snacks tends to be very black and white. Either you allow it or you don't. Either you are being good or you are falling behind. But I do not think that framing is actually helpful, because the question is not just can I have this? The better question is can my body handle this with everything else it is already carrying? Because if your sleep is poor, if your stress is high, if your hormones are shifting, your blood sugar is unstable, and your body is inflamed, that extra sugar or processed food may not just be a little treat, it may be one more thing your already overwhelmed body has to process and manage. Now, this is not about making you feel guilty, this is just biology. And this is not about never enjoying food, it is about understanding your capacity. A body that is well rested, nourished, and supported has more capacity. It can handle more and recover faster. But a body that is already stretched thin may need fewer stressors before it can start responding again. So for me, lowering the load meant getting honest. I started to pay attention to what was quietly making my body work harder than it needed to. And little by little, I started removing those things. Not all at once and not with shame, just with more awareness. Because here is what I had to accept. If your body is already in protective mode, you cannot keep adding stress and expect it to heal. So once I start lowering the things that were adding stress, the next shift was this. I had to start giving my body what it needed to recover. Because removal alone is not enough. Your body does not just need less of what is hurting it, it needs more of what helps it heal. It needs the raw material to repair, nutrients to make energy, minerals to run its systems properly, antioxidants to manage stress at the cellular level, protein to rebuild, fiber to support the gut, real food that signals to the body you are safe now. You can start healing. Now, many women over 40 are not just overeating, they are undernourished. You can be eating enough calories and still not be giving your body enough of what it needs to function well. Enough protein, enough minerals, enough fiber, enough healthy fats, colorful plants, enough nutrients to support your hormones, your energy, your detox systems, and your ability to repair. So my question shifted from what should I avoid to what does my body need more of. I started focusing more on protein because it supports repair, muscle growth, metabolism, and feelings of satisfaction. I started adding more colorful vegetables and fruits because color often indicates nutrients and plant compounds that help the body better handle stress. I stopped being afraid of fat and became more intentional about the right fats because the body needs them for hormones, brain health, and healthy cells. I started paying more attention to my gut because when your gut is inflamed or not moving well, it affects everything: your mood, your energy, your cravings, and even how your body responds to food. I also started using herbs and spices more than I ever had before. Ginger, garlic, turmeric, cinnamon. Not just for flavor, but because it helps support the body's natural ability to protect and repair itself. But I also had to look at how I was preparing food. Because you can start with the right ingredients and still undermine them in the kitchen. A good piece of fish becomes less useful when it is deep fried. Vegetables lose much of their value when buried under heavy sauces. Chicken becomes harder on the body when it is burnt or charred. Even a solid meal can work against you when it is loaded with poor quality oils, excess sugar, or too much salt. So I started choosing simpler ways to prepare food, like steaming, like sauteing, adding more herbs and spices. And this is where I had to remember that food is powerful, but food is not the full picture. My body also needed water. It needed movement. It needed sleep, sunlight. It needed time to recover. And when I consistently started putting all of that together, that is when my body started responding differently. My energy changed. My cravings changed. My digestion started working with me. The information that I had gotten so used to started to quiet down. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was working with my body instead of constantly pushing against it. So if your body has not been responding the way you want, I want you to consider not only what do I need to cut out, but also what does my body need more of to recover, rebuild, and respond again. Because transformation does not only happen when you remove what is hurting you, it also happens when you consistently give your body the right support. So if eating healthy has not been working for you, if you have been doing the right things and your body still has not responded the way you expected, I want you to stop blaming yourself. The problem may not be your discipline. It may not be your effort. Your body may simply be carrying more than it can recover from. And what it needs is not more pressure. It needs less load and more support. This is where I will start. Pay attention to what your body is already carrying. Begin removing what is making that load heavier. And slowly and consistently add the foods, habits, and rhythms that give your body what it needs to recover. Because your body is not your enemy. It is not betraying you, and it is not just aging badly. Your body has been protecting you the only way it knows how, when it is operating under more pressure than it was designed to sustain. And I believe that when we begin to work with God's design, rather than constantly pushing against it, the body can start responding differently. Not because we force it, but because we finally give it the conditions it needed to heal, recover, and function as God designed it. So are you tired of feeling tired? Well, I'm looking for a small group of purpose-driven women over 40 who are ready to start letting low energy cravings and brain fog rob them of the strength they need for what God has called them to do. So if your body has been sending signals, don't ignore them. And don't keep calling it normal. You may be running low on key nutrients your body needs to function well. So take the Nutrient Deficiency Assessment through the link below.